Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Big Swing Fitness Podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping you improve your golf game through golf fitness. This week's episode, we got another good one. We're going to be talking about the PGA tournament that was this weekend, as well as the LPGA tournament this weekend. Starting off with the Wells Fargo Championship that was held on the PGA Tour. It was another exciting week. We had another great match on Sunday. What can I say about this tournament? It was good all-around tournament. It had a lot of big players. Roy McIlroy was back in it. Unfortunately, Jon Rahm was not in it this week, taking a break. He's been playing a lot, so it's all right. But we had Xander Schauffele, who had another amazing week, coming in second place to a first-time winner, Wyndham Clark, who put on a stunning performance, dominating on Sunday, really just staying poised and connected throughout the day and pulling off a great tournament. It was pretty close throughout the week. On the Saturday and early Sunday, there was a lot of players bunched up together. Even still on the Sunday closing out, there's a lot of players bunched up together in third, fourth place. But Wyndham Clark ended up winning with a 63 and going on to get his first PGA Tour victory, as I mentioned. He played exceptional, making a lot of great putts and had a really nice short game down the stretch. We had some other good players that did pretty well. I would say Adam Scott had another great round this week, as well as Terrell Hatton, really showing his stuff and having a really great tournament on Sunday. Yeah, but altogether, it was a really great week. It was hats off to Wyndham Clark for getting his first win. You can see the emotion on his face as he was getting interviewed at the end, talking about his first victory, being almost a little lost for words in the moment. But winning your first PGA Tour victory has got to be pretty special. So happy to see that. It's always great to see somebody get that first win after he's been grinding out, I think, his 50th year on tour. So great job, Wyndham Clark. There was another tournament this week that was the LPGA Tour. It was the Hanwha Life Plus International Crown Tournament, which is a match play type format where it's almost like a Solheim Cup, as they do, or a Ryder Cup, if you're more familiar with what it is. Teams from around the world, international, as they say, teams getting together to putting together a squad of 4 players, the top 4 players, or the top 4 players able to make it out to the tournament, as we found out with England, with the 2 players dropping out right on the Sunday before the tournament. But they were able to get to some good replacements and get the tournament going. But in the end, the victors of the International Crown was Thailand, a strong team, a team I thought was going to do very well, and not surprised to see them end up winning. It's the team of Arya Jutanagarn, Moria Jutanagarn, Patty Tavatanakit, and Atia Titikul. They really, all 4 girls played amazing all week. They really showed their stuff. They were just pretty dominant. I think they went 11-1 in the tournament. Arya Jutanagarn ended up getting the VP in the end. She also chipped out on the final hole of her singles match on the last hole of the tournament, just to cap things off. What can I say about these girls? Patty Tavatanakit, somebody who I've been watching since the first time I saw her play, and when her first major, she's got such a nice swing, nice, sharp, crisp driver swing. It's wonderful to see. And the Jutanagarn sisters, it's always nice to see a sibling pair out there, both excelling in what they do. Thailand, hats off to them. We had some other great play. It was what it is. It was Thailand and Australia in the final round. And it was Thailand and Australia in the final round, as well as United States and Sweden in the bronze medal round, as I would just call it. USA team had a pretty solid week altogether. I was really pulling for them. Some of my favorite players are there. DK, Danielle Kang, she struggled off the tee, but her short game showed some good putting, some great touch around the green. She's got great hands. It was really great to watch her play alongside Lexi Thompson in the pairs for to start off the week. Lexi Thompson, another great player. And it was Lilia Vu, who just previously won the Chevron champion, I believe it is. This young girl is just showing her stuff. She showed great poise throughout the weekend. And Nelly Corda, always amazing. Getting to watch her perform, such a blessing sometimes. It's really great to see. And her and Danielle Kang on the final day together, that was a fun pairing to watch. They lost their first pairing, but ended up winning their last pairing on the day to help them get into the bronze medal, which they ended up winning 1-up over Headwall and Anna Norquist. But Sweden, again, another great tournament for them. I was actually expecting them to do pretty well, and it's good to see them. Australia, Minji Lee had a pretty decent tournament as well. I do to see Australia do well, and like some of the players over there. And they just had a hard time because, like I said, Thailand was just on their game, and those girls end up getting their crowns. And it was just a great all-around tournament. And if you do like watching team events, which I do, Solheim Cups, Ryder Cups, President's Cups, it's actually great to watch. I know the PGA Tour is getting rid of match play to some degree. I think they're on official tours. They're not going to be match play, but they will have some sort of side tournaments of some other things going on as they mix things up going forward. So it should be interesting to watch. I do watching these team events, especially when these players get to represent their countries, like in Olympic style. There's always some extra pressure, and it's a really fun watch. But so what I would say, it was just to recap the standings. It was Thailand winning the gold medal and the crown. It was Sweden coming in second place, getting the silver. And it was the United States pulling it out, getting the bronze medal. I would say all the teams did play pretty well. I was expecting to see some other teams really pull it out. China had a great showing. Korea, I was expecting to do pretty well. They just ran into some tough matches, and Japan as well. But again, all in all, a great week, great tournament. I don't want to go all on and on about it. Just I am a fan, so you can see I might be a little more excited when I talk about it. It was a great weekend. But getting into the main topic of the podcast, as usual, what we're going to be talking about is flexibility and mobility, something that is obviously hugely important. If you ever try to play golf, you probably notice yourself that you can be pretty tight when you start. If you just rush through the golf course, you haven't warmed up, you haven't practiced, you're pretty tight. I notice for myself, just when I get out there, even just on the range, and I'm just hitting short shots, and I haven't warmed up or practiced beforehand or gotten myself loose, I'm hitting it a good 20, 30 yards shorter just until I warm up. Even if I try, it's almost like I don't have the range of motion and the speed to get the ball out there. Even with my wedge shots, like my distances, if I haven't warmed up or stretched before I get out there and play, are off by literally 20, 30 yards sometimes. And then I'll notice that on the course. And I've noticed that just from hitting balls on the driving range, a bucket or half an hour to an hour in, I'm just much looser, the ball's flying much better. And a lot of that is just from being tight. Now, I would say that it's important to change because you just want to increase your range of motion. It's also going to help prevent injury. It's going to help you maintain and hold those positions again throughout your golf swing and help you. And what we talked about in previous episode was balance. It's going to help you with maintaining balance. Really, your flexibility and your mobility helps in all aspects. As in some of the training that you do, they all kind of work together and help all help each other in various ways. But yeah, so what I'd say is, okay, and so if you're interested, there's actually several studies that have been done to show that flexibility and mobility positively impacts your performance on the golf course. One done by the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that golfers who participate in a flexibility training program experience significant improvements in club head speed, overall performance, driving distance, balance. And even just other studies have shown that it's also helped to increase, it's found to help decrease injury by up to 60%, which is from a publication published in the Journal of Athletic Training. And they conducted a golf-specific warm-up schedule for their trials. And the participants in these trials did show to have a decrease in injury and over about 60% of the ones who participated. So these are some of the reasons why you might want to do a golf flexibility mobility program. I would say some good examples of exercises you can do for this program would be standing golf rotations. Just stand with a golf club in your hand, rotate your torso from side to side. I would say your hip flexor stretch is another great exercise to do. And a seated hamstring stretch, another great exercise. And maybe some glute bridges. Glute bridges, another exercise that would be very great for you to help with your flexibility and mobility program. It's also a good idea to do some general yoga, possibly. When you think of flexibility and mobility, I would say probably most people tend to think about yoga. And just getting in there and doing a nice yoga session would probably do great, even if it's not more golf specific. A lot of the stretches and the exercises that you do would translate to helping your mobility and range of motion for golf. Some key areas you might want to work on would be thoracic spine. Golfers require a good range of motion in their thoracic spine to help execute an effective and powerful golf swing. So working on your thoracic spine is really important. And training your hips in your mobility and flexibility really helps with a more efficient transfer and leads to more efficient transfer of weight and better swing mechanics, I would say. I'd also try for hamstring flexibility. It's really important to working your hamstrings to help increase your range of motion in going back and going through the golf swing and generating power. Then I would say you probably also want to work on shoulder mobility and your core strength. And building up your core strength is going to allow you to, again, going to really strengthen your balance and your base and your body's ability to torque around your core, which is something you want to do to help generate power and really keep you stable throughout the golf swing. I would say these are some of the basics to think about when you're thinking about a mobility and flexibility for your golf game. I would say do not neglect your flexibility and mobility. I do think actually a lot of people tend to train their flexibility and mobility when they do start actually getting into trying to do some sort of fitness training for their golf games. But it is essentially important. And if you are doing it, keep doing it. And if you're not doing it, definitely start doing it, because it does wonders. And it just is great for your overall health. Again, they've talked about yoga and just working on your flexibility and your mobility. I find incorporate that with the breathing. It's going to help you, again, maintain certain positions. And when you're in positions, help the mind, working on the breathing while you're doing these things. And it's going to help you stay calmer, more relaxed, which is, of course, highly important when you're on the golf course. And it might save you from breaking a few clubs if you're able to keep yourself centered and calm and not get raged by hitting that slice into the woods. I know how it is. I've been there many times. They used to call me Tiger in the Woods because I'd always hit a massive slices into the trees. Luckily, I've trimmed that down a little bit and I find myself more in the rough when I hit bad shots rather than all the way into the woods. So yeah, that's about all I have for this week's podcast. As always, have yourself a good summer, a good golf week, good golf day, and one love. Peace out.